You lead, I follow, and I take directions very well.
Perfect.
I have no problem in saying I don't understand or I don't know. Please repeat. So
Awesome.
I am a life student, Blue. But the one thing I would like to say is that I thank and appreciate you for this opportunity. I feel amazing about it. And Spirit is going to lead us to a path that we did not expect. So I came without expectations.
I think that's beautiful. I love that so much. I'm really, really excited. So I can't wait to get started, Daphne. What we like to start with, well, where I like to start, because I'm learning as this podcast is continually kind of evolving. This is episode 7, and it's constantly in this evolution growth process of becoming what it is, right? But one of the places that I really like starting off with, simply because I think it's really important for all of us to normalize. It's not just the healing journey or the spiritual journey or kind of like waking up into gifts and things like that. But truthfully, I think it's just normalizing life itself, because for me, my healing path, my journey throughout life has been a spiritual journey. They've coincided with each other, where it's not just me trying to like get my shit together and heal so that my life goes easier. At the same time, it's come in conjunction with big spiritual, massive growth and connection and everything like that. So I really like starting at the spot where, when was the first time in your life where you felt like you realized that there was something more than what we were being told, right? Or something more that we were being programmed with, where it's like, oh, physical reality and this world and this existence and all the things that we get told it is, turns out there's something more to that. Do you have a moment in life when that took place?
I want to drop this one experience for us to hold on the top shelf. My first spiritual experience happened when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
I did nothing with it. I was born and raised in Jamaica, West Indies. And in Jamaica, there is a practice and a religious community that is called Pocomania. And what that says is that there are different people who wear white turbans on their heads, and they go from districts to districts, and they conduct what is called open air meeting. They do the African drumming, they sing African songs, and I grew up attending those with my mother and my aunt. So I don't know if you're familiar with what they call Slay in the Spirit, Blue.
I'm not. I'm so excited to hear, though.
One night, there was a meeting down the crossroad in front of my grandfather's little shop. And I was there happy with the clapping of my hand, a 12-year-old really having a good time. Next thing I know, bloops, I'm on the ground, and I don't know for how long, but I was there, and later on I realized my mom and auntie, they were lifting me up off the ground. I didn't ask my mother what it was, because I've never seen that happen to my mother or my auntie or anything. I didn't ask, and she did not say anything. We went home, and we left it at that.
So do you have any idea, like reflecting back now on that experience, what happened? Because you might not have understood it at the moment, but reflecting back on it.
As I went through my various religious practices and even became part of different congregations, that part of what happened to me at age 12 was happening in the presence at those different congregations. And that's why now I'm labeling it as being slayed in the spirit.
Okay.
Because I knew I was different. Like my cousin said to me a couple of years ago, when I said yes to my divine assignment to move to Florida to pursue the work and journey I'm on, I called my cousin Ivorine and I said, "Cuz, do you have a minute?" She said, "Yes, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, I called you to tell you something." She said, "What's going on?" I said, "You know, I accepted my calling." And she said, "Yeah, really? So what it is?" And I said, "I don't know if you know that I have the gift of healing and stuff like that." And she said, "Yeah, really?" And she acting suspicious. And she said, I'm relaying to her what the Spirit told me. And I said, "I decide I'm going to do the work." She said, "It's about time." I said, "What do you mean it's about time, Ivorine?" She said, "'Cause I know this for years. I didn't say anything to you, but I knew for years." I said, "Ivorine, how did you know?" She said, "'Cause don't you realize you are not normal? Somebody will ask you a simple question, and to give them the answer, you go so deep." She said, "Why do you think I always call you with anything to talk to you?" And Blue, the honest truth is, and I want the folks here to listen to me, I ran from my spiritual gifting, my brother, for 62 years.
Wow.
62 years. I'm 77 now. 62 years I ran because I was active in religion, and that's not sexy to do and talk. And yes, there were people in the different congregation who knew about my giftings, and they used to utilize it, but it was kept under the radar and being suppressed. So it took the universe putting me in hospital with a stroke. And I got a vision in the wee hours of the morning. "Daphne, you can no longer run from who you are called to be. You got to honor yourself. Your work here is finished." Meaning what I was doing in Connecticut was finished, and I need to move. And I said, "I don't want to go back to the hospital again. I'm going to start obeying."
Daphne, I have so many questions. So right off the bat, I think what would be, well, not what would be really helpful, but I'm like genuinely curious. Maybe if we start at the very, very beginning. You said you were born in Jamaica and raised in Jamaica.
Yes.
Talk to us about your childhood and what you, not just what you experienced, but give me a good idea about what childhood was like for you, your teen years. Take us through the experience, the key things that you think shaped and molded, because again, right, not tapping into and connecting to your gift, tapping in and connecting to spirituality, to source until 62, right? Until that late in life.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so curious. What are all the little breadcrumbs along the way, all the little moments? So let's go back to childhood and work our way upwards.
So then my mother is one of 6 girls. And when my mother married to my father had his entire body broken out in eczema.
Okay.
Right? So my mother and her sister Myrtle and her sister Ida, that's the one that her daughter told me that she knew for a long time, all had babies close together. So my mother used to go over to my father's place in another district. And Mama had to go there to look about Papa's health and everything. And she left me as a baby with Aunt Ida and Aunt Myrtle. And until now, Aunt Ida is 92. I still refer to her as my mother, right? Because she breastfed me too, because she had my cousin Vivian, who was a few months younger than I was, so she was nursing 2 babies. Then when my mother married my father, I was no longer attending those Pocomania meetings I told you about, that I got slayed. But now my mother became part of the Moravian, which is an English religion from England, right? And so I started going to the church, became busy in the church, singing on the youth choir and helping out with the Upward and Onward organization, which is like a Boy Scout and Girl Scout.
Okay.
So I was active there, helping, going to the elementary school that was on the same compound of the church, and I was helping with the garden and just leading and being a normal teenager. I didn't have a sophistication.
How big of a role was religion in your life? Like, not just religion, but maybe this, like, did you have a lot of spiritual practices? Was it something that was really present in your home?
No spiritual practices that was exposed other than go to church on Sunday. You get involved in the choir. You go to practice. So you have to sing on Sunday in the church. Whatever was active in the church, practice it. You have a hymn book. You look for the number of the hymn. You sing the hymn along with the organ. No outer display of spirituality or religion.
Okay.
Nothing.
So more of like religion was like a community aspect for you.
Community thing, and something you look at and say, well, this is what you got to do. You pray. No demonstrative way of prayer or say you chanting or doing anything like that. No. Religious people don't do that. No, you don't do that. Whatever is going on, you take it to pastor, you go over the mission house, and pastor send the deacon or elder to go and visit Brother Blue. Brother Blue is sick or in the hospital. That is that.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, all of my acceptance really happened after I went to the hospital, Blue. Because for my entire life, I know I was different. I did not have a label for my difference. What is different about
How was it showing up? Like, what was happening for you that made you know that you were different? What were you experiencing? What were you going through?
I'll meet you and you're talking to me, and I'll just open my mouth and say to you, oh, so what was going on last Sunday? And you look at me frightened and you said to me, well, what happened? Why I didn't tell you anything about that. Or different things happen in your life. And in the conversation, I'll pick it up and I'll ask you. For example, when I was in one of the churches, my car transmission died. And I was riding with another sister to go to church. Religion. I'm talking religion, right? And I go into her car and I'm talking to her in the conversation, telling her everything. Don't know where it's coming from. To me, it was normal conversation. We go to church. All of a sudden, the pastor announced his sermon. And everything I was talking to her about is what he's preaching about. So on our way back home, she said to me, I didn't know you talking to Pastor Frank during the week. I said, I'm not talking to Pastor Frank. She said, but how you know? Don't you realize that what you were talking to me about driving to church this morning is what he preached about? I said, yes, but I don't talk to him.
Okay. So Daphne, the way that I see what you just explained is I see it through the lens of precognition. Have you ever heard of like precognition or precog before?
No, sir. Please tell me.
So the idea being that you'll get information about future events. Sometimes you'll see things that are going to happen, or you'll have an understanding, right? It shows up a lot of different ways for people, but it's the idea that you're getting information about a future event before it happens. And so to me, what you just described, that would make sense, where it's like, for whatever reason, you had the information about what you all were about to go experience, and yet you're talking about it on the way there. Did you have, it sounds like a lot of stuff too, like earlier where you were talking about just knowing things about people. Is it just this knowingness that's coming through when it comes through for you?
Yes. And I'm always wondering how I know. Right. I feel things. I dream a lot. Most times I don't remember my dreams that I can relate to you and say, this is what happened. But then I tell you one incident. Perfect. When I lived up north, I used to do part-time coordination of a French cultural exchange program where the students would come over and I placed them in homes. This particular young lady went back after her trip here and went with her mother and father and her brother to go visit their grandparents in Egypt. I don't know if you recall years ago, I don't remember which years, when a plane was coming back from Egypt to France and the plane crashed. And everybody died.
I don't recall that, no. Well,
when the house mother called me and to tell me the little girl died, I said, I know. And Lisa said to me, Daphne, you just said you know. How did you know? And I told her that I saw the dream where the 4 people died. A young girl, a mother, a father, and a sister. And she said to me, yes. Wow. That was her, because the neighbor sent a message to them that the family died. So I have not asked myself, what am I supposed to do to get the clarity? I just know that I've gotten more obedient and do what I am told. You know,
take us to the spot, Daphne, because you talked about going into the hospital. When you were 62, you had a stroke? Is that right?
No, I went into the hospital 2013.
Okay. What happened?
I had a stroke and I went to the hospital, and I'm a former nurse. I wasn't even identifying that is a stroke I was having. The neighbor took me to the hospital. And they admitted me at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. And the neurologist asked me what work I did. And at the time I used to say I'm a motivational speaker. So I told him that. I was at a teaching hospital. He said, okay, tomorrow morning at about 10, I'm going to come back and do a thorough evaluation. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. And then that was the wee hours when I said I got the vision telling me I can't keep running from who I am. So when Dr. Habibi comes the Friday morning to do my evaluation, and he asked me, how are you this morning? I said, I'm fine, Dr. Habibi. And he went like, he said, what's your name? I told him my name. He looked at the chart they have at the bottom of the bed, and he turned around and said something to the medical students. He had 4 medical students with him, and he said something to them. I have no idea what he said to them, but he turned to me, Blue, and he said, I cannot believe, as your neurologist, I'm going to say to you what I'm going to say, but I have to say it. He said, you are a miracle. What is happening to you is a miracle. And when you get out of this hospital, you need to continue doing the speaking. Just keep speaking, keep speaking. The speech therapist is going to come and see you and make the final decision if you can go home today. And on Monday, you can go to the outpatients clinic on Main Street. And I said, thank you. I didn't mention anything to him about the dream.
So the first day that you met him, were you like, you said you weren't exhibiting stroke-like symptoms, but were you struggling with speech and having a hard time speaking?
I was exhibiting.
Oh,
I had
okay.
slurring, and you know how your face droop and everything. But when he came the morning, there were no more signs of that.
Okay, this is where I want to go towards, Daphne. This is because I misunderstood. So I thought you said that you didn't have any stroke-like symptoms.
Oh, I do have. I just said, as a former nurse, I was not acknowledging that I was having a stroke.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said. It's my apology for not explaining
No,
that.
I misinterpreted. I thought you meant that as a nurse, you didn't see, like, you know, I know these things as a nurse, but I didn't see any.
My mouth was like that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about this dream. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm so fascinated. So, yeah, please, just go straight to the dream.
So, then now I had the dream, and the doctor came and saw
What happened in the dream?
Daphne, you cannot keep running from who you're called to be. You got to do what you are called to do. I knew, Blue, because remember, I knew I was different.
Yeah.
But I wasn't telling nobody.
So when you say it's a voice, like, how does that? I really like exploring these spiritual experiences we have, because so many people have these experiences and some of them don't realize that that's what it is, or will minimize it, or will misunderstand it. So do your best to kind of describe, like, do you feel like you're completely in a dream state? Are you in that like in between place and you're hearing voices? How does it come through?
I'm not hearing voices. I have a sensation and a presence and a visibility of someone that I recognize. Sometimes I could say, yeah, it's Blue. And another time I know, okay, yeah, we know each other. Let's have this conversation.
Okay, so something comes to you in the middle of the night?
During my sleep, during my relaxed state, that entity, then, let's call it an entity.
I'm comfortable with that.
will present itself, and to have this dialogue, inner dialogue with me. Inner dialogue.
Okay.
And the instructions are given to me. And prior to this dream, I began working with a special coach and mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe. And Dr. Miles, when I first met him, I said to him, I don't understand what was going on with me, because I had a lot of inner turmoil and conflict. And then he had said to me, it's because you are not in alignment with your purpose and your calling. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? Because in religion, I've never heard the term before.
Okay.
And he said to me, everybody is born to this planet for something special. And he said to me, at the end of this conference, I'm going to be selling my books. If it's one book you can buy, I want you to get my first book. It's a tiny book, easy read. It's called In Pursuit of Purpose. And I got that little book, and that changed my life, because it began pointing me and showing me that it is not wrong to be experiencing what I'm experiencing. At that stage, I felt more comfortable to remove the religious labeling and to follow through with what was happening inside, and accept that, hey, You're different. You're different for a good reason.
Daphne, I love this. I think so many times people have such a hard time when it comes to unpacking all of that, because I talk about things through the lens of like programming that we get in childhood, all these things that get installed into us and that we get programmed with, and religion. And if you've got religion in your life, and if you're coming from like I was raised isn't even the right word, because it wasn't really a big deal in our life and in our family, but I was brought up under the Mormon church, the LDS church, right? And all of that programming is something that I really have had to unpack and process, because a lot of the spiritual experiences that I've had my entire life would be seen through different lenses and different verbiage because of religion, right? And so I love that, like, well, it sucks that it took you so long to unpack it all and kind of like get to the point where you're like, no, I'm perfectly fine the way that I am, right? But I think it's a really good thing to highlight is a lot of what we experience normally and naturally, I believe, oftentimes it gets labeled all of these terrible, crazy things from religion.
Yes, yes. And even as a nurse, because I am a former nurse, that is the career I did all my life. Even then, Blue, my colleagues at the hospital always ask me, why do you have to take so long to do the meds? It takes us X amount of time. But for you, you have to stop. You have to talk to everybody. You have to find out what's going through them, because they were not just patients to me. Something was telling me I need to talk to them, because that's where their healing was.
Yeah,
Their
it's the
healing
connection.
was not in the medication. And those patients would talk to me. I would get my day off and come back, and they would tell me everything. And little did I know that when I touch them on the head and pat them just to say, it's going to be all right. Spiritually, that touch was doing something for them.
So take us to the dream now. You get the dream. You get you said that there were some instructions that came along with it. Was it just like the kick in the butt, you got to go towards this thing? Or did you have some real deliberate instructions about what to do next?
Bro, the stroke scare me. And I'm thinking, man, I can't keep being disobedient. I got to listen. And I remember what Dr. Miles had said to me, that I can't keep running from myself and I'm out of alignment with purpose and calling. I keep running, I'm going to be around the corner. But when they discharged me from the hospital, sent me home, Monday I went to the outpatients clinic, had an evaluation with the speech therapist, and the first thing she said on Monday, you will need to come 3 days a week for the first 90 days. And then we are going to do another evaluation to see your progress. So Monday, my next visit is Wednesday, and then Friday. So Wednesday when I went back, the speech therapist said, Mrs. Hudson, I'm going to do another evaluation with you. Please do not make any more appointments today. Friday, you can book another appointment. And the truth is, I got in my feelings, because I'm thinking 90 days and you're just giving me one day.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back, the Spirit said to me, just obey what you are told. And I did this in the parking lot, raised my hand. I said, God, I will stop disobeying you. I went home. I came back to my appointment on Friday morning, happy as a log. I wasn't fighting with the therapist and say anything. The lady said to me, Blue, listen, Mrs. Hudson, I want to administer one more evaluation that I did not do Monday. I'm going to turn on a virtual restaurant on my laptop, and you and we're going to dine in the restaurant. And I'm going to add the result from that to what happened on Monday and on Wednesday. I said, okay, because remember, listen to what the people say and obey, and I'm obeying myself. Well, you know how all the noise in the restaurant and you know everything. And I saw all of a sudden her countenance change and she looked pleasant. And then she closed her laptop down and she looked and she said, Mrs. Hudson, I know I told you on Monday that you will need to come 90 days, 3 days a week. But you don't need to do that. She said, if I had met you on the street, I would not have known that you had a stroke.
Wow, Daphne.
That is how improved I was. And something said to my spirit, that lady believe like how you believe. So I said to her, you know, when I was in the hospital, ma'am, I got a dream. She said, tell me about the dream. And I told her. She said, yes, you are called to do something special with your voice. There is something special about you. Just keep listening to what you are told and honor what you are called to be. And with that, when the Spirit said move, I pack everything in the Pinsky truck and I move. And I said yes to honor my calling. In 2020, I met a woman right here on TikTok. I'm not going to call her name because I didn't get permission to call her name. I did not know her. She was Jamaican, but we connected on TikTok. And when we connected, she had just lost one of her sisters to COVID. And another one was on her way out. She was in the hospital. And I saw what was happening. And the lady, when she saw me on TikTok, she said, wow, you are the lady Mama showed me. Because her mother passed too. You are the lady Mama showed me in the dream. And Mama said, I don't have to worry about losing. And she called the name of her two sisters. Because you will take care of me. Then I called the lady her name and the lady said, what you just said? And I repeat what I said. And she said, no, now I know that is you. She said, the name you just called me, nobody else know that name but my mother. And that was my mother speaking through you.
Oh, my goodness, Daphne. That's so beautiful. So how did your life, like, what are some of the big things that changed for you after the stroke? Like, what are some of the steps? Yes, leaning into it. Yes, listening. No longer like going in opposition to it, just trusting it and going with it. And now you're in Florida. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. I'm in Florida. I came here. Daphne came with big dreams and how she wants things to line up. Yeah. But the universe have other plans and said, well, you're really in school because there are certain things you got to learn. You got to sit your hind parts quiet. Move when I say move. Associate with who I say associate with. Keep your mouth closed. Don't be talking too much. And that's what's been going on here. It has not been easy. But what's going on is necessary.
When you talk about this inner voice or this guidance that you're getting, does it come in association with because for me, a lot of times I don't just talk about it a lot when I'm on here and everything like that, but it's from my own lived experience of like having a real physical sensation in my body, right? The solar plexus, the intuition, that part of my body, and really being able to feel when it like opens up and I can feel a pull towards things where it's like, well, I just have learned to trust it because it's like, oh, gotta go that way. Got to go that way. So does it feel similar to you, or are you getting messages, that internal dialogue again with someone, something, whatever we think of it as, right?
It's a great mix. Talk about having a fruit salad or a vegetable salad, something that you really enjoy. It's just a pleasant mixture and a combination that you can trust what is going on. And that is going on with me. And I am doing better with trusting that now, because the truth is I was not always obedient. I'm going to tell you about when I was instructed to start my cable show.
Yes.
When I'm finished. I want to tell you about that. And I'm feeling whatever is happening, I know that is the right thing that is happening. Because that sensation, or whatever you call it, it has never led me wrong. Intuition, sometimes I call it intuition, sometimes I say my sense of discernment. Yes,
I like both of those.
Like I called a lady 2 nights ago. Today is what, Friday? Tuesday night, I called somebody I know from Jamaica, and she lives here. And I called her and I said certain things to her. And she lost her daughter tragically some years ago, I think 2011. And there was something I called her and said to her, and I did not know that she had done that thing. And part of what I was led to tell her is that in order to close out what's in that journal, she need to burn the journal. And she says, I'm not going to burn it. So I said, interesting, why? And she said, because I have written other things in there. I said, anyway, I only know to deliver the message, so do with it what you can. Now, I've known that woman for many years. I had no idea that journal. And then before I hung up the phone, she went into details and told me what's in the journal. And I said, you didn't even have to do that. But if it makes you feel better for saying it, you just say it. But I said, guess what, girl? I'm not going backwards. I'm going forward. So do with it what you may. And then I said, if the second set of things that you wrote in the journal is valuable to you, you can cut them out and put in a binder. But that first part of that journal needs to go because it is hindering you. It is hindering you. So years ago, I was instructed to start a cable TV show when I was up in Connecticut. And I said, I didn't go to journalism school. I don't know nothing about no TV show and nothing. And the entity, the spirit, that I'm calling it spirit.
And this is still through dream and things like that?
Yeah, when I'm in my, oh my heavens, thank you, spirit. I got to tell you this, Blue. I was married once, right?
Okay.
And my husband was a cheater. And guess what? That man never know how I know he's cheating. He always think his friends are telling me. But so long as he's out of the house at midnight, everything he's doing, so long as I'm laying in my bed, comes to my consciousness. And when he come in, I can say to him, A, B, C, D, E, F, and everything was correct. And until now, we divorced, he never know how I know.
Daphne, that's remote viewing. Like that's you tapping in and seeing. Like, I love this.
Well, now you see what happened, Blue? No wonder the Spirit connected me to you. Because I have not, this morning, Britt asked me something this morning. Britt, what did you ask me this morning? If I know about, go ahead and write it, Britt. She asked me, I said, I have no idea what it was. She said, okay, I'm going to look to see what number card you are. Oh,
Cardology?
Cardology. Do you know what that is, Blue?
I don't, I mean, I'm assuming it's like, I don't exactly know. No, cardology is something to do with like cards and reading cards and things like that.
So guess what? I don't even feel bad about it. I told her, I said, no, girl, I know nothing about it, but I said, you go and tell me. You know? And she went and looked and told me about it. And we happy on our merry way. We had an amazing life this morning. So over my 77 years of life, I have not focused on labeling what is happening in my life. And I don't know if it is bad or good, positive or negative. I just know when I'm led to serve and deliver, I do it out of pure authenticity, unapologetically. I don't want to have to put label on it to deliver.
You know, Daphne, I think it's such a beautiful way to move through life because a lot of what I get caught up in, and I'm sure people can relate to this as well, is like I have to label it. I have to have understanding of what, and I say I have to, obviously I don't have to, right? But this thing inside of me that's like, I have to understand what this thing is. Otherwise I can't understand what it is. And it's like, it's this missing piece to me where what's happening? Why is this happening? Why are things happening? Both in good ways and in bad ways, right? With positive things and with negative things. But I love the idea of just living life from this lens of like, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care. You know, we can call it precognition. We can call it remote viewing. We can call it source energy. We can call it love. We can call it God. None of these things matter. Daphne's over here just following her heart and her intuition, knowing that if it's coming through her, it's for a reason and she's sharing it.
Exactly. And unapologetically, like this morning, I said to somebody, I say, you might not come back to my life after today, but I still got to tell you what's going on. And what we were discussing, what the Spirit was showing me, or the entity, or the sensation, or the feeling, you got to get him to stop playing Russian roulette with his life. And those people who were there this morning, I don't know if you remember that, and the individual was not offended because he affirmed that what I was passing on was accurate. So I just remain in that place of willingness to serve and deliver. And I just need to finish about the cable show.
Yes, please. Take us back to the cable show.
I didn't finish that part. So I got the instruction to do the cable show. At that time, I was a part of a big mega Christian church in Connecticut. And I was part of the drama group. So the drama lead, I was discussing with her what I felt led to. I didn't ask her, I didn't tell her what led me, but she listened because I think Lisa had a feeling what was going on with me too, but they didn't say nothing, right? And she and I together sat in her living room and decided that the show is going to be called A New Day, Your Guide to Personal Empowerment. I went down to the cable station and I spoke with the manager, Dave King. And he was excited because I'm always coming on other people's show and everybody liked me. So now I'm going to have my own show. They welcome it. Well, going back to that entity, here is the instruction. You need a white 3-ring binder with loose leaf. You do not need to script the show. You just need to show up, have pen and paper to write. That's all. No scripting of the show. Well, of course, Daphne, thinking she didn't go to journalism school and she was not enough to do a show. Oh, she did the research and she scripted the show and she highlighted everything and she put it in plastic folder in the binder. And Blue, I remember the guest was there and we sitting on the set and I heard the cameraman say 1, 2, live. And I opened the binder and everything was blurry. And I'm doing my glasses like that. Everything on the page was blurry. I couldn't see anything. And the entity said to me, close the binder. And I quickly closed the binder and everything started coming to me. I just start speaking. I just start speaking everything. And for as many years as I had that show, that's how I conduct. And even when I do my podcast and here or whatever I do, I don't script things or jot it down. Everything I need to say I do flows to me.
Well, here I go again, Daphne. I'm going to throw a label on this because that's the way that I've also got a little boy inside of me. Like when I feel like I've got to go around and label everything, it's the little boy in me that wants to feel safe, right? It wants to understand what's this, what's this, what's this. So then I have a response for that little boy. I'm like, this is what that is. This is what that is. So there's a component there for me. But what it sounds like you're doing is channeling. You're just simply receiving information and sharing information, just getting out of the way of like you're the middleman in a sense, but you're just channeling all of this information. I freaking love it, Daphne. I think it's so beautiful.
And that's what somebody said this morning. The same gentleman I told about the Russian roulette. That's what he said. Oh, you remember, Brit? He said, oh, you are channeling. I said, okay, thank you. I didn't even know that. I said to him, thank you. I didn't know that. You know? And I am glad and I think part of the universe allowing you to accept me on this podcast is for me to be getting a stamp of approval in telling me, yes, Blue knows all the name for those things, but you don't got to know them. Just continue doing what you are called to do.
Yeah, I think it's such an important message, Daphne, because, I mean, so much of the component, like the aspect of you leaning into this intuition and leaning into just trusting the universe, God, source, whatever, knowing that they're going to take you. You said earlier in the episode, your intuition will never steer you wrong. It's never going to take you towards something that isn't for you. It's never going to take you to something that, do you know what I mean? It's like it's always guiding you towards love. It's always guiding you towards light. And when I really, for me in my life, and it was, truthfully, it was around 2020 was a really big shifting year for me, right? Where life really kind of got all sorts of mixed up in all sorts of different ways for a lot of reasons that people can relate to. And then also it's just the catalyst for a lot of things. And since that moment, and it's earlier as well, but like that was a real shifting catalyst moment for me where I just really started trusting that pull and that intuition. And it's taken me, do you know what I mean? Originally, I was from Utah. We moved to Tennessee like almost 3 years ago now. And it's just life unfolds and unfolds and unfolds in really beautiful ways because I've trusted this sensation in my body that says, go in that direction. That whatever that guidance is and whatever it's meant to me over the years in different ways and different labels, I've learned that at the end of the day, it just feels like love to me. It's just love pulling me towards love, love pulling me towards love. And I love like the idea of being in service to it, in essence, to serve those around you. You're just here as this channel to be like, whoever I come into contact with, here's the information from love for you. Here's the information from love for you. Here's the information for love from you, regardless of how it shows up in my space. I also want to mention, like, you're sparking so much stuff inside of me, Daphne, when you were getting the downloaded information for your cable show, for the television show, it reminds me so much about these cards. Because when I got because I describe it as a download, I had no idea. I mean, I have a connection to cards. I saw Britt ask this earlier in the chat too, so it's perfect because I've played with cards for my whole life. So I have like a connection with playing cards. When I stopped smoking back in 2018, I picked it up and learned a lot of like little card tricks and sleight of hand and all this kind of different stuff that I do with cards, right? But as far as like reading cards and what these cards mean, all of that came as a download in May of this year, where it was like, this is what the cards are. You're going to go on TikTok. You're going to read them. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But I don't know what the cards mean. And they went like, don't worry about it. We're going to tell you what the cards mean. And then they just showed me the 2 is this, the 3 is this, the 4 is this, the 5 is this. So I was like, cool, I guess I know what the cards mean. And then I just come on here and start reading cards for people. And it's just been like the most incredible experience over just since May. I mean, in the last, what is that, like 3 months, little over 3 months. And it blows my mind. But I've done the same thing that you've done, where I'm just like, I'm going towards this pole and this intuition. And then I'm just sharing it's like I had a massive spiritual experience at the end of last year, right at the beginning of this year, where essentially I received a message, guidance. I was told, hey, this is it for you. You figured out your mission in life, your purpose in life. You're simply here to help people on their path to unconditional love. Just help people go towards unconditional love. You've been there, you felt it, you believe it, you know it. We're all stemming from it. Now your job is to just come back and point people in that direction through whatever means that looks like, right? So that's all that I've done. But I just love the reflection of it. It's like you've been walking that path since, it sounds like 2013, right? Since the stroke, since the shift. Since...
I said yes and just stepped out. I wasn't sure where I was going, but I stepped out because I didn't want to go back to the hospital. And I know as long as I was not obedient, that's where I would be heading towards again. So it is really eye-opening to listen to us interact and to see you relate and to know, because Blue, you would not believe how many bullies come on here and bully me. And people come in and say, oh, but why you not reading cards? Sometimes I answer, sometimes I don't. I said, listen, I'm staying in my lane. I leave what is not mine alone. When I'm ready to get another gift, it will be handed to me. Because if it's one thing I have, I'm a multi-millionaire when it comes to my faith. Because you know one of the other things? I think it was 2018 or 2019, I taught at a conference. And my topic was, I am a billionaire and so are you. And what the universe showed me when I was preparing for that presentation is that everything you have done over your lifetime, Daphne, you have deposited in your universal bank account. So whether your physical bank account is saying negative or not, you're a billionaire when it comes to universal bank account. And I know that that class was not for the people. It was for me. And I keep honoring and believing that and knowing. I don't care what my physical thing look like. My abundance is there. I remember talking with a lady in New Zealand I think I met her on my LinkedIn. And she was telling me, she said, you know, you were not brought in this world just to carry your mantle. She said there's somebody on your father's side and another lady from your mother's side. And they have unfinished work that you have to finish. So she said, when your folks get together for a meeting out there, she said you want to see the amount of people and everybody is pulling. Oh, I want to talk. I want to talk. She said you have such a big presentation out there in the spiritual realm. So when she tell me that, I smile and I said, let me do what I'm supposed to do. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. So I'm grateful that they brought me to you to listen, and you don't think I'm crazy.
Oh my goodness, Daphne, not in the slightest. This has been such a pleasure. I want to open it up to the chat. If you've got questions for Daphne, feel free to drop them in the chat. This has been so incredible, Daphne. I've loved every second of this.
Yes, I appreciate it.
I want to ask you, I think that over the course of my life, I've had so many different, like my perception constantly is changing and evolving, right? My beliefs are constantly changing and evolving. And I'm sitting in the space right now where like I'll grab a hold of something and then I'll like use it for a while and see if it kind of fits. And the parts that I resonate with, I'll hold on to and continue to kind of add until it takes shape into a belief. And then the parts that I don't. And when I started at the beginning of the year, really exploring deeper into consciousness, into energy, and into all of these deeper spiritual things, not received information, meaning from source in a sense, even though I think this is also an emblematic, like what happened was I started to come across content, like a lot of the information that I receive through social media, as well as the podcasts that I'm listening to and the stuff that I'm feeling pulled and directed to and start to consume, right? It plays a really big role in obviously what I'm programming myself with and how I'm perceiving my existence and my reality. And so I started to really think about consciousness as not just the virtual reality and the alternate reality, but seeing it from like an ever expanding source of energy, a source of love that, yes, is infinite in a sense, but at the same time, it's not, because it's still just in the evolution process. And then a portion of this experience, meaning when we come down into these bodies to incarnate and do all these kind of different things that we do, it's to help in that evolution process. We're just sorting through light and dark, where the contrast between things, and then, you know, sharing that information and experience through the emotional wavelength of what our body can process and connect to. And in doing so, helping everything continually evolve. It's just a beautiful cycle of evolution and growth, all streaming back into love. Now, that's my thoughts and experience. And I'm curious, the question is, what the hell is this thing all about? And what do you think happens when we die? Long story short, what's the meaning of life, Daphne? From your current perspective.
Life is to be lived to the fullest. And for each and every one of us, fullness means something different. How do we itemize our fullness? Some people are caught up into material things. Some are stuck in their traumas, and because they refuse to heal, they really cannot enjoy the brightness of life. Heaven, I think my heaven is right what I'm doing here now with you. And I know all the religious people we used to be in the prayer group. They're going to send me a message about that. But to each his own. My understanding is to do my best here on this planet. From here, my authentic place of my heart. I'm not criticizing you. I'm not judging you. I can love you unconditionally. You meaning the human being. All right? So I don't know that anybody going to hell or heaven when the breath leave their body. I think hell and heaven is right here now what we make it. And I hope that answer your question. That's just my take on it. I can't spend my time trying to analyze what somebody's practices and what they think you ought to do. Every day, I open and set my intention to learn at least 2 things new. And when my day finishes, did I accomplish that task? Where did I fall short? And what can I do differently? Today, no tomorrow, no yesterday, today, to the fullest for me.
Daphne, that's so wonderful. That's so beautiful. This has been so amazing. Everybody be sure to go follow Daphne. If you're not already, please do so. Daphne, after the fact as well, we share these episodes on YouTube, so people are going to be able to watch it after the fact. Is there anything that you'd like to share, anything that you'd like to promote or put out at this point for those people or anybody else that's listening?
And I am open for new clients. So, and I would love to have a copy, if it's okay with you, to put on my YouTube. Lord, I'm doing better. I'm doing my best to get my YouTube channel up and working. So I need to set that up. And I am open for private consultation. I have to make a little confession. Back in 2021, Blue, that same lady I told you with the 2 sisters.
Yes.
She was getting so much advantage from the work I was doing with her. She said, oh, you should do some readings on TikTok. So I started doing that. And then I was getting all these deep things. And I did not want to embarrass people. I was getting stuff where family members molest people and I'm talking. And then I said, no, I can't be opening this on right here
on TikTok,
on social media. So I start filtering it, Blue. And when I start filtering, this is how I was when I finished the live. My shoulders was rigid with all the pain. And the Spirit say you lock that down because you do not have the right to suppress or filter the messages that you are getting to give people. So I stopped that. So I don't really have much to promote. I know that we have to make revenue and we got to monetize. And I'm still asking the universe, what's the best way for me to monetize? Because prior to saying yes, prior to COVID, I used to do keynote presentation. I used to have a lucrative coaching practice. But since I'm in universal school, I got to sit my hind parts quiet and I just need to start generate and manifest revenue. So I can
you feel, Daphne, can you feel like there's something, like oftentimes in my life, I can feel like when something next is coming, I can feel it before it's coming, even though I can't tell what it is, right? I can just tell like, oh, I can feel the next thing. It's getting close. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what direction, but I can tell that it's getting close. Are you in that state right now where you can feel the next thing that's on its way?
I know something is coming. I don't know the name, but I know there's something. I am one of my moderators. I don't know if he's still on here. I was saying it to him a couple days ago, because one of the things I do for my subscribers and moderator is that I do a session with them and help them through, because it's free. They're volunteering their time.
Yes.
So I meet with them. He said, I'm here. Yes, I'm thankful for you being here. And yes, I was talking to him about that as well. And yes, I cannot put a label to it. I can't fix a label, but I know there's something coming. And I'm doing so much better now with my obedience. And I can say, thank you. I don't have to know when, but I know it's coming. I'm even doing better with my eating habits because certain things, the universe will get out your diet. I had a small piece of chicken Sunday. That thing nearly killed me, Blue. I said, Tata, bye-bye, chicken. Hello, bye. And
I quit caffeine back in April. So like that was a big one. Like you said, the universe will get things out of your way. It's the cleaner I get, like I get rid of caffeine. I got rid of smoking. I rarely drink alcohol. Like the things that were clogging up my filter in a sense, right? I get rid of those. The clearer the channel gets, the clearer the connection gets, the easier it is. It's like things come through much better when I get rid of these things that kind of clog up this filter that is the avatar.
Clean and clear. Yes. That's what Brit said there. Yes. Oh, my heavens. This
Daphne,
is such...
I just freaking love this so much. This has been such a pleasure and such an honor. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And if Spirit sees that we can do it again, I'm not saying no. I'll say yes if you want to have me back or whatever. I'm just so grateful. I love you. I love the work that you do. And, you know, I just come without expectation and to just accept whatever is laid out for me. So I'm grateful.
Thank you so much, Daphne. I would love to have you back on in the future. This has been so fun. And everybody be sure to go follow Daphne. Go jump on her lives when you see her. It's really incredible, Daphne, what you're doing. And I'm really, really grateful to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. So I hope Brit got her answers because Brit wanted to know. Oh, I don't know if you remember not the first time, but some time ago I was on your live and you were pulling cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you pulled the 7 of clubs. And you probably don't even remember that.
I don't.
So Brit pulled a card this morning and she said she pulled 7 of clubs, right, Brit? And she told me what this 7 of clubs meant. And I said, interesting that you said that because I think that was the same card Blue pulled for me. It was too funny.
Wow.
Yes, so I'm grateful. I appreciate you, my brother. And I stay closely connected. And thank you, Prism.
Yes, thank you.
So much.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. And again, if you missed portions of this, you can catch it over on YouTube. It's just, oh my gosh, I got lost there. It's Blue Flower Love. It's the Deep Blue podcast every Friday night at 7 p.m. live here on TikTok. Thank you so much, Daphne. Lots and lots of love. And thank you, everybody else.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Love and gratitude to you.
Have a beautiful evening.
Yeah, you have a wonderful weekend. And everybody, please enjoy the holidays coming up. And love on you, love on you, love on you.